and tonight I will be informing you about how biking as a mode of commuting has many health and environmental benefits. I personally find this important because I am really into running and biking, and I feel that this also helps the environment. And as an architecture major, I really want to develop buildings built from natural and sustainable resources, and that I feel biking is another way of helping the earth. So do you remember when you were young, before you could drive, you would walk everywhere, or scooter, or skateboard, or bike everywhere? Why was it that once you were able to drive and use other forms of transportation, like buses and subways, you stopped doing that? I feel that when you bike, that biking from place to place can help you both physically and with the environment. So first of all, biking as a form of transportation has many health benefits. Biking can help protect you from diseases such as diabetes, stroke, heart attack, and depression. According to the U.S. Health Report, obesity in American adults has doubled since the 1960s, from 16% to 37%. While you're pedaling on a bike, you end up using all of your major muscle groups, which helps you burn about 1,000 calories per hour. So after biking for 3 hours, you can burn off 1 pound. Biking also increases your cardiovascular fitness and strengthens your bones, which can help you overall in the long run and help you live longer. Even though biking may seem hard to one who sees it as an intense sport, it is very customizable to the user. Biking is a low-impact sport, meaning that rather than walking or running, you don't have as much impact on your knees and the rest of your legs. So you can do more biking without getting injured, and you can get farther because you're moving faster. When you're biking, you can bike as high of an intensity as you would like. So basically, when you're going to work or school or to your friend's house, if you want to get there at a certain time, then you just have to leave early enough to be able to make it on time while going as fast as you would like. And my third point is that biking saves economically and environmentally. According to Mr. Money and Mustache, any mileage that you put on your bike instead of your car saves you about 50 cents per mile in gas, depreciation, and wear and maintenance. From this savings alone, doing a couple of bike errands per day, maybe 4 miles, in place of car errands will add up to $10,752 in over 10 years. And how many of us don't like not saving money? Or how many of us don't like saving money? I think that saving this much money can also helps, while helping the environment is worth it because you can use the money that you spend toward your car toward other things like your groceries from that you can get after biking. Biking can also help environmentally. The U.S. Census estimates that about half of all Americans live within 5 miles of their workplace. And according to National Geographic, those who decide to bike those 5 miles every day rather than driving an average car could reduce total household emissions by 6%. This shows that the more people who begin to bike as a form of transportation can help reduce household emissions and decrease the carbon footprint. And I feel that this is important because as the population grows, more people are using cars rather than using resources that are more natural to us, and that we can use less of the resources that destroy the earth and do more for ourselves, like fighting obesity and being healthy. So overall, I believe that biking as a mode of commuting has many health and environmental benefits, and that if we all do this together, then we can make massive change in our world.
Don't stand there. It makes you look like a target, and that's not the point. All right, well, the topic's identified, but like we had with at least one other speech, the phrasing of it turns it into an informative speech. I'm going to show you how biking is beneficial. No, you want the declarative statement, not kind of a back-ass question. That's not the way you want to go at it. You're backing into the argument then. So you want a more specific declarative statement for your proposition. That's a little bit problematic. The contents of the speech, it sounded like you had built into the proposition the health and environmental benefits. So you've got two claims in the proposition. I assume that those are going to be the secondary structure of the speech. In the body of the speech, it sounds like you have a third point, but I can't distinguish what that third point was, so that was a little bit problematic. I heard you label the first point, and I heard you label the third point, but I guess the second point is something in the middle there that was not as clearly labeled as it could have been. I'm not sure how much controversy there is on this. I think everybody understands that biking is good exercise, so I can't imagine that somebody's going to be able to respond to this by saying biking isn't all that hot for your body. I'm sure that it's not going to hurt anybody too much. Maybe there'll be some conflict on it. I don't know. The strongest argument that you had, I think, is the idea that if people bike more, that there could be some environmental benefits in the long run, but you only got partially through that argument. So if people reduce, like you said, the hypothetical that you come up with, if half of all Americans who live within 5 miles of where they work suddenly started biking, that would reduce the exhaust of their house or their excess capacity by 6%. That sounds pretty good, but I don't know how important that is, because that's a specific amount of people, and how much better off is the environment going to be as a consequence of that. I think you need to maybe follow that up with a little bit more information, and that would be, like I said, where there might be some more controversy on this. There could be better arguments. There could be an argument that says there are more practical ways to do this that wouldn't require all of the effort and energy that's put into biking. I thought you did an okay job citing information on the first point on health issues. You had one source citation that you gave there. It did sound like you went to that well 3 or 4 times, and you didn't necessarily indicate that that's where the second, third, and fourth benefit that you were talking about came from. That's my assumption that that's where it came from, but I think that you needed to be continuously citing that. The visualization of how much time it takes you to travel and planning ahead of time, I think that kind of skips over what the main issue would be for a lot of people. Say, oh yeah, I can bike to work, it's only 20 miles. Let me see, if I want to bike low impact, go 5 miles an hour, that means I need to leave 4 hours before I'm supposed to be at work. Since my first class is at 7 a.m., I got to leave at 3 in the morning. That's a little bit of a problem, especially when my last class at the end of the day is at 8 p.m., and that means I'm going to be getting home at midnight. That means I got 3 hours to do anything else that's going on in the day, and I would see that people would see that as potentially problematic, and maybe that's where the conflict is. So I think there needs to be a little bit more acknowledgement that there are some problems here, and that's why you have to make this argument and convince people to overcome this. Because if you simply ask, well, why do people get in their cars instead of biking, I can give you several answers, and most of them aren't really politically correct answers. Bikes generally don't have back seats, and so if you're an adolescent, that would be one of the main reasons. All right, thank you.